Now, I know I'm a little late to the party here on the whole Jim Carrey clone situation, but I want to chime in nonetheless. Before I start, I just want to say it has been proven now that it was actually Jim Carrey at the award ceremony. The poor guy has come out saying he's sad about the situation, which kind of makes sense because, I mean, look at this picture, for example. This is what everyone was saying was a Jim Carrey clone. This isn't actually Jim Carrey. This was all a clone. When he's obviously just had a bunch of work done. I can't imagine getting a bunch of work done on my face and then going out in the public eye and people accusing me of being a clone just because I look so bad that I don't look how I used to. But the main part I want to focus on here is the whole theory that this guy called Alexis Stone, who's like some sort of mad, incredible makeup artist who does all these cool prosthetics and makes himself look like other people and that sort of thing, how he came out and said he was actually Jim Carrey in this situation. He had put on the mask and all the makeup and the wig and the false teeth to make himself look like Jim Carrey to go and accept this award. First of all, I can't believe people actually ran with this and believed this guy, for starters. He first of all just came out and said that it was him, and everyone was like, yeah, okay, sure. And then he uploaded this picture. He uploaded it to Instagram and used this as his proof that he was the Jim Carrey clone. As you can see, the mask, the teeth, the wig, the makeup. And I'm just going to point out a few things that when I initially saw this, my immediate thought was that it was AI. By the way, proven to be AI. Looking at it now, it's so obviously AI, which I knew that, but there was people in the world, people I know, I will say, as well, who believed this malarkey, and actually believed that this was a real mask, a real wig, real false teeth, that this was Alexis Stone pretending to be Jim Carrey to accept an award. So I'm just going to point out a few of the problems. The first problem is these fake teeth down here. They have a full-on jaw on them, which fake teeth and gum shields usually don't have. It's usually literally just wraps around your teeth. So that was one of the first things that I noticed that made me suspicious. The second thing is the mouth on the mask. The mouth is always open, which means even when you put the mask on, the mouth is still going to be open. The only way the mouth would close while you were speaking is if somehow your lips were hooked onto the mask, so whenever you opened your lips, the mask's mouth would also open at the same time. Third thing I want to point out is it's a real big coincidence that this guy claimed to be in Paris and you can see out the back window the goddamn Eiffel Tower. Yeah, good coincidence that where you are in Paris, you can see the Eiffel Tower perfectly from your window. Nice, very nice. Sometimes, in fairness, when there is an image that is AI, you do maybe have to do a little bit of a deeper look to find out what parts are actually AI, or any slip-ups, like, for example, this Eiffel Tower in the background. So obviously a slip-up. There's no way that from this guy's view in France, you can see the whole Eiffel Tower perfectly throughout his back window. But like I said, it's come out that this was AI, and that Alexis Stone was not a fake Jim Carrey. And in fact, Jim Carrey wasn't a clone of Jim Carrey neither. It was just the real Jim Carrey, who is like 65 years old, who's had a bunch of work done. And that's another argument people were making, like they were putting a picture of him when he was like late 20s, early 30s, compared to a picture of him at the award show, saying, look, they clearly look different. When I'm 65, pull up a picture of how I look now, I guarantee I will look much different in 50 years. This was also another thing people were using. If you look at this picture here, for example, they were saying, look, his eye colours are different. His face is obviously all different. He's much smoother at this award show. He's much bigger in the award show. That's the work. That's the plastic surgery. As for the eye colour thing, I assume that's just the lighting. I can't really explain why his eye colours are different. Again, I don't know if that's got something to do with plastic surgery either. But he's obviously just had work done. Like, even on the left side of his face, he's got this massive dent on the left side of his face in both pictures. And then if you look at the Alexis Stone picture of his Jim Carrey mask, there's no dent on the left side of the face. That's all I've really got to say on the matter. I know it's all been disproven now, and it was all a bunch of baloney, and it was never a Jim Carrey clone, which I already knew. I was kind of just waiting for the inevitable, which is someone, or Jim Carrey himself, coming out and saying, hey, it was me. Another question I would have is, why would they clone Jim Carrey to go and accept an award? Like, it just doesn't make sense. I'm sure we'd be doing much more interesting and useful things if we could actually clone people. Like, we would clone another Neil deGrasse Tyson so we could find out about space at 2 times the amount of speed. But instead, people seem to think that Jim Carrey would get cloned to accept an award. Not to mention the fact, if Jim Carrey was cloned, wouldn't he look the exact same as what everyone's saying he used to look like before he was cloned? If he was truly cloned, wouldn't he look the exact same? Surely that's what the whole point of a clone is that it looks and acts exactly like you do, down to the T. Anyway, that's it. I just wanted to talk about this. I think it's ridiculous nowadays that someone can literally say something online and there's at least hundreds, if not thousands of people that'll just take it as a fact. Like, obviously someone started this chain of, hey, this isn't Jim Carrey, this is a clone. And then you had all these people online agreeing with them and trying to prove that it was a clone.